Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. As with all my videos, it's using non-best in slot gear, minimal to no perks, and no set rotations. As always, just remember that our goal here is not optimal rotations, it's not fast kills, and it's not peak performance. I'm here just to help show you what you're capable of, even if you don't know it yet. Better kills come with time and practice, and right now is the best time to start. With that, good luck with everything you do, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. So here's a quick breakdown of my gear and inventory. As you can see, for the inventory, we have just the standard portents of restoration, our overload, our vuln bombs, some food, some runes, um, weapon poison, prayer potion, Excalibur, and the Elven Ritual Shard for some extra prayer. Then for our gear, we have just the full Tier 90 tank gear, the Cinderbanes, a Jas book. As you can see, the weapon, the armor, there's no augments, there's no perks. The only thing I have is Relentless, and that's just for the occasional adrenaline gain. And of course, the Zuck cape for the Skulls buff. Aside from that, use whatever perks you like, use whatever aura you like. I'm using Maj, use whatever book you like. Anything works. There are no rules except the rules you set. So, the first real challenge you'll find are these Celestial Dragons. Celestial Dragons are straightforward, except you'll see that red text box pop over their head. And what that means is they're going to keep healing unless you stun them. And your stun is your Soul Strike, your one soul AoE ability. So for any Celestial Dragons, there's the 3 in this room here. But for any of the Celestial Dragons from here on that you encounter the rest of the dungeon, just know that you have to stun them to progress. So once you've made it through all those, you can either rebank or you can go straight on into Astalarn, and you're going to start your fight with him. So he's very straightforward. Just make sure you pay attention to a couple small things. One, he's going to divide the arena into kind of 4 sections, and wherever you see it look like it's raining right now in that top right corner, just don't stand in there. Next, you're going to see that pulsar that he spawns. Just as soon as it spawns, kill it quickly. Don't ignore it. It hits pretty hard. That bar over the head that you see, and it drops that black hole, just kind of stick it next to him, and then stand out of it until you get that notification that you just saw, where he's drawing a neutron star to you. When you get that, stand inside that black hole, so that gets pulled towards you. Just make sure you're nearby, because if it touches you outside of that black hole, it'll hit you for a lot of damage and probably KO you. Those are the only mechanics that you need to deal with. And quite frankly, if you have all of your summons up and you're good to go, you'll pretty much nuke him down before you do any of the mechanics twice. You're just going to do one roll through and you're good to go. It's pretty quick, pretty painless, and you can always use Debilitate or Reflect if you find that the damage you're taking is a little unmanageable. Then moving on, there's these lava strike worms. The only thing that I want you guys to realize here is you don't have to kill all of them. If you go towards the end, you only need to kill these 4 and it'll open up that passage. So it's not critical. It doesn't necessarily have to be these 4. It's just any 4 in that passageway. So after you kill those strike worms and you're on to the next boss, Barrack Lilith, you're going to you can either again restock, rebank, resummon, or you can dive right in. It's a very straightforward fight, and there's really not too many moving parts. The main mechanic that you get every other mechanic is the spire, where there's going to be this big rock that pops out underneath you. You want to either pray melee when it spawns, or you can just kind of ignore it. It doesn't hit too bad. You're going to kill it because while it exists, Varric Lilith is immune to damage, and then you're going to go back to Varric Lilith. After the first spire, you're going to get the egg mechanic. You can catch it and bring it to the pile, but that's honestly a lot of moving parts and a lot of effort that you don't necessarily need. You could just have high health. You can use a defensive like Reflect or Debilitate, and you can kind of just ignore it and let it do its thing. After that, you're going to get the spire again, and then you're going to get the black dragon diving you. When you see it, you just surge out of the way, and you don't take any damage. Then you're going to get the spire again, and then you're going to get the egg, and then you're going to get the spire, and then you're going to get the fire tornado mechanic, where once you see it, you just, again, kind of surge away, and you're good to go. And that's the whole fight, is just back and forth between spire and mechanic, spire and egg, spire mechanic, spire egg, so on and so forth. So for the rest of this fight, while it's just kind of playing out, I just want to let you guys know that I don't necessarily show any specific rotations, because I personally don't follow any specific rotations. I've never been a fan of it. I mean, it's more fun to just kind of wing it. So if you're struggling with rotations, just know, especially for necromancy, there's really only two things to pay attention to, and that's your two stacks, is your souls overhead, and when those are full, use your volley, or your necrosis stacks, and when you have 6, use that finger of death for good damage. But the real cool part about necromancy is there's no wrong answer. Unless you specifically have something where you need to save a soul for a stun, or you need enough adrenaline for a defensive, there's really no wrong answer. So it's just do whatever feels natural or comes natural for you. There's obviously faster rotations, there's better rotations, but at the end of the day, the goal is to get the kill. It's not to be the best, it's just to build confidence, and once you figure out what works for you, you can then improve it, and you can find out what kind of fits your playstyle. I just want to make sure, there's a lot of people that compare themselves to other players who are really good and have crazy damage, and just know that should never be your goal. Your goal should just to accomplish the kill. And if that's your goal and you set out and you achieve that, which I know you can, you'll find yourself progressing way faster than trying to be the best and do the best rotation right out the gate. So on to our next little kind of critical mob that can influence the fight are these dragons, and the Dragonstone and the Onyx and the Hydrix. They all have this attack that kind of, you see that square of crystals spawning underneath you, and some of them reduce your health, some reduce your adrenaline, some reduce your dragon fire timer if you're using the dragon fire potions. And the big thing is, if you see those coming, just move out of the way. And the main purpose of that is it's actually preparing you for a mechanic that's in the Blackstone Dragon fight, where Blackstone Dragon pretty much does the same exact thing. So it's just, if you see those little crystals kind of coming at you on the ground, just move out of the way. So the next part is, there's these 2 Hydrix dragons, and if you kill the one on the right, then it'll open up the gate at the stairs. So it's entirely up to you how you kind of want to handle it, but you can either kill him and you can go right on through, or what a lot of people do is kill those 2 dragons at the end there. They both work. It's just entirely, what works for you. If you happen to have a Slayer task for killing specific styles of dragons, then maybe you want to pick for one or the other, but just putting it out there that is in fact an option. So on to the final boss of Elite Dungeon 2, which is the Blackstone Dragon. So you're gonna rebank, restock, get everything ready to go, get your weapon poison, because Blackstone Dragon is poisonable. You're gonna get all of your conjures good to go, and it's a very straightforward fight. You're going to go in and you're just going to kind of do as much damage as you can at the start before you hit that phase point. The only thing that you really need to worry about is, like I said earlier, you will see the little crystals kind of coming at you. And when that happens, just surge, run away, dive, something, because it does remove your adrenaline. You see them right under me, and my adrenaline went straight down to nothing. So when you see those coming at you, just make sure you move out of the way. Aside from that, just throw some abilities, build some stacks, and get ready for the Black Hands. So these Black Hands, unfortunately, with Necromancy, because the range is so much shorter, you can't use the safe spot, which you saw me try to go to at the start. But as long as you stay away, and if you follow the Elite Dungeon 1 guide, at Seiryu, you saw those little hands coming out of the ground. It's the same exact concept. As long as you don't stand still, those won't hit you, and if those don't hit you, they won't do any damage. So you're just gonna roll through and kill all 4 of these Black Hands, and when you're done with that, you can move on to the Blackstone Dragon again. One thing that I try to do is, when you're done killing them, before, again, the magic of Necromancy is before you target Blackstone Dragon, make sure you have enough adrenaline from the last one that you can summon everything for free and move right on into your rotation. And once that's done, you're going to go right on to the Blackstone Dragon and do some damage. The only thing that from that point on, for the rest of the fight, that you really need to pay attention to is the flames. And anyone who has done Vindicta knows that if you see big flames on the ground, just don't stand in them. Blackstone Dragon's going to be shooting them all around, doing them in a spiral pattern, and all you really need to worry about is just don't stand in them. Aside from that, just run around, do your damage, take it slow and steady, don't panic, and you should be absolutely fine. So hopefully you just watch this, follow along, and it'll give you the confidence to get your first or second or 500th, who cares? It's totally up to you, but your Elite Dungeon 2 kill. I hope you have wonderful luck, and I hope everything goes great, and enjoy the rest of this kill.